Have you ever noticed that when the world grows quiet, when the lights turn off and every sound begins to fade, that's the very moment we begin a silent conversation with ourselves. In those minutes caught between exhaustion and sleep, the voice inside us speaks the loudest. But sadly, most of us fall asleep carrying regrets, left unresolved worries we never put down, and questions with no answer. We drift off, heavy, unsettled. But what if we change this habit? What if instead of letting fear take over, we planted words of healing in our minds, thoughts that could make us stronger, calmer, and wiser? This isn't a new idea. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they practiced it thousands of years ago. They called it evening reflection, a ritual to look back on the day, to recognize what had passed, and to remind themselves of truths that could never fade. Imagine this: your mind is like fertile soil. Every thought before sleep is a seed. Plant fear, wake up with anxiety. Plant gratitude, wake up with peace. Plant strength, wake up with courage. We cannot always choose our circumstances, but we can always choose the seeds we plant. And that, the Stoics said, is where real power lives. In today's world, between ages 25 and 65, most of us feel like we're running through a storm. Careers, families, losses, responsibilities, pressure. It's so easy to forget who we are, where we're going, and what truly matters. But at night, when the pace slows down, that's our chance. A chance to return to ourselves, to clear the mind, to nurture the spirit. It's not just a habit, it's a way of living. And tonight, I want to share with you 13 life lessons, simple reminders to repeat each evening. Not empty cliches, but real seeds of wisdom drawn from Stoic philosophy, from life itself, and from our deepest desire to live with peace. You don't need to memorize all 13 at once. Just pick one. Practice it tonight. Let it slowly become part of you. Before we begin, let me ask you this. What seed did you plant in your mind last night? Was it regret, anger, or fear of tomorrow? Or was it gratitude? A quiet smile that you were given one more day to wake up? That answer matters more than you think, because it shapes your morning, your tomorrow, and your entire life. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength isn't far away. It doesn't come from conquering the outside world. It comes from cultivating the world within. And it begins with the thoughts you plant right before you fall asleep. So tonight, treat it as a new beginning. Let these 13 lessons become small lights guiding your path. Don't just listen. Live them. Let them shape you, and step into a life filled with calm, courage, and meaning. And before we move forward, if this message touches your heart, hit like to spread it, share it with someone who needs peace, and subscribe so we can walk this journey together. Then go to the comments and write this affirmation. Tonight, I plant seeds of strength and peace. And now, let's begin. Lesson 1. Your mind is your strongest fortress. Have you ever noticed that everything we experience in life, joy and sorrow, success and failure, we experience it in the mind? First, people can take your money. They can take your job, even your health. But there is one place, if you learn to protect it, no one can ever touch. Your mind. The Stoics called the mind a fortress, and this fortress only falls when you open the gates to the enemy. And the enemy is not just hardship or crisis. It's the negative thoughts you allow inside. It's the endless comparisons. It's the meaningless arguments that steal your peace. Think about it. How many times have you felt restless just because you compared yourself to someone online? How many nights have you lost to anger over one careless comment? The truth is, the outside world didn't break you. You allowed it in. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor. The Stoic philosopher reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Simple words. But when you truly live them, your world changes. Because the outside can be chaotic. But if the inside stands firm, you can still walk through in peace. Imagine your mind as a house. If you let dust and trash pile up every day, that house will feel suffocating. It's the same with mental clutter, envy, comparison, toxic news, petty arguments. If you don't clear them out, they take up the space where courage, calm, and joy should live. But here's the good news. You can choose what enters your mind. Just as you choose healthy food for your body, choose healthy nourishment for your soul. A good book, a kind conversation, a moment of silence to breathe and reflect. Do you know something interesting? Modern psychology shows that nearly 80% of the worries we carry in our heads never even happen. Think about that. Most of the fear and anxiety you suffer is a creation of your imagination. And the Stoics knew this long ago. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." So ask yourself, if most of your worries are illusions, would you dare to put them down? At 25, your mind is vulnerable to the weight of other people's opinions. At 40, it feels buried beneath responsibilities. At 60, it may wrestle with fear of the future. But at every stage, your peace still depends on one thing: the strength of your mind. A person may lose everything: their job, their money, even their freedom, yet if they guard their mind, they remain free. Viktor Frankl, a doctor who survived the concentration camps, once said, "The last of human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That is the fortress of the mind." So how do you protect it? First, awareness. Ask yourself each day, what am I letting into my mind? Second, selection. Instead of being dragged into meaningless debates, choose silence. Instead of endless scrolling, choose something that feeds your spirit. And third, discipline. Train your mind like a muscle focus practice and know when to rest. Remember this: the world outside may be loud, but your mind is a sacred space. It only shakes if you allow it to shake. So tonight, before you close your eyes, repeat this truth: my mind is my strongest fortress. I choose to protect it. I choose to keep peace within no matter what happens outside. This is not just a reminder. It is a commitment to your life. Lesson 2. Responsibility for your life. There is a simple truth many of us try to avoid. No one else is responsible for your life. Not your parents, not your boss, not your partner, not even fate. Every choice, every reaction, every step you take belongs to you. Many people think responsibility is a burden, but in truth, responsibility is freedom. When you accept responsibility, you claim the power to shape your future. But when you blame others or blame circumstances, you hand that power over to them. Have you noticed? The more you blame, the smaller you feel. But the moment you say, "I am responsible," you stand taller. You become steady, unshakable. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That thought becomes a compass for every situation. Because you cannot control whether someone loves you or leaves you. You cannot control the markets or the weather, but you can always control how you respond with calm or anger with courage, or fear with curiosity or complaint. Imagine two people face the same heartbreak. The first spends years blaming their ex, holding bitterness, and staying stuck in pain. The second asks, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from here?" And they rise stronger, wiser, freer. Same event, two different lives. The only difference, one person took responsibility, the other did not. At 20, responsibility feels heavy like a backpack, too big for your shoulders. At 35, it feels urgent, because without it, life slips into chaos. And by 55, you see the truth. Responsibility is the line between peace and regret. So you might be wondering, where do I begin? Start small. Instead of complaining about your health, take responsibility by exercising, by eating with care. Instead of blaming your stressful job, take responsibility by learning time management or seeking a path that fits you better. Instead of blaming others for your pain, take responsibility for your healing and set healthy boundaries for yourself. Each small choice adds up. Together, they create the story of your life. And when you take responsibility, you gain back something priceless: your dignity. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become the author of your own book. You stop waiting for the world to give you permission to live well. You create opportunities through your effort. You write your own destiny. Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Responsibility is the courage to face life with open eyes, to say, "I will do my part." So tonight, before you close your eyes, remind yourself clearly, "I am responsible for my life." Repeat it until the belief sinks into your heart, because only when you believe it deeply can you live differently tomorrow. You may not control everything, but you will always control yourself, and that alone is enough to change your life. Lesson 3. Character matters more than reputation. In life, there are two things we often confuse: reputation and character. Reputation is what others think of you. Character is who you truly are. Reputation is like a shadow. It shifts with the light of public opinion. But character is the root, steady, enduring, unshaken. Think about it. How much of our lives do we spend worrying about how others see us? As children, we longed for grades, for praise from our teachers. As adults, we chase recognition from co-workers, neighbors, society. We polish the shadow, but the roots inside our true selves are often forgotten. The truth is, reputation is fragile. Today, people may praise you. Tomorrow, a single rumor can bring it crashing down. Seneca once wrote, "What good is a fine house if you have not got a tolerable character to put in it?" The message is clear. The outside can shine, but without a solid foundation, the house will fall. You can build a reputation with temporary brilliance, but if your character is hollow, you will never have true respect. The Stoics valued character above all. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." It means this: instead of chasing what others want to see, decide who you want to be: honest or deceitful, kind or selfish, resilient or weak. Then let your words and actions follow that decision day after day. Ask yourself one simple question: did I live true to my values today? It sounds simple, but if asked daily, It can transform your life. Because at the end of the day, it is not what others think that defines you. It is the truth you hold with yourself. I once knew a colleague, talented, admired, praised everywhere. His reputation stretched far. But one day he broke a promise on an important project, and quickly his reputation cracked. Meanwhile, another person I knew was quiet, unnoticed. But day after day, he kept his small promises. He treated people with kindness. He lived true to his values. Years later, he became the person everyone relied on, the one people trusted most. That story reminds me, reputation can open the door, but only character keeps you standing once you step inside. So you may ask, should I care about reputation at all? The answer is yes, but only as a natural result of character. Reputation has value, but it should never be more important than who you truly are. If you live with truth and integrity, reputation will follow. And even if it doesn't, you can still sleep in peace because you know you lived right. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Simple, clear, powerful. A reminder to guard your character even when no one is watching. So tonight, before you sleep, repeat this truth. Character matters more than reputation. Don't chase the eyes of others. Build the roots within. Let your words, let your actions reflect the values you believe in. And if you are proud of the person you are inside, then no matter how reputation shifts outside, you will still stand firm. You will still be at peace. Lesson 4. Time is your true wealth. There is one treasure we all possess, yet so few truly value. It is worth more than money, more fragile than health. And once it slips away, you can never get it back. That treasure is time. You can lose money and earn it again. You can miss an opportunity and find another. Even health in many cases can be restored. But time, once it's gone forever. Seneca, the great Stoic, once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." A wake-up call, because life is not too short. We are simply wasting too much of it. Think about it. How many hours this week did you spend worrying about things you cannot control? How many hours comparing yourself to others? How many hours lost to meaningless chatter or endless scrolling with nothing to show for it? That time doesn't just vanish. It leaves empty spaces in your life, spaces you can never fill again. At 20, time feels infinite. At 30, you begin to notice its speed. At 40, you ask, where did the last decade go? And by 55, you see clearly every single day is priceless. That's why we must treat time like sacred currency. Each night ask yourself, did I spend today well? This isn't meant to stress you. It's meant to awaken you, because the value of time is not in the number of years you live, but in the depth of each moment. An evening spent with someone you love is worth more than hours online. A quiet moment of reflection is worth more than a busy, empty day. Some people live 80 years, but only truly live 10 of them. Others live 40 years, but fill each one with presence, courage, and love. The difference isn't length. It's how you spend the minutes you're given. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do say and think. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to free you. Because when you know tomorrow isn't promised, you choose your words more carefully. You spend your time on what matters. You love more deeply. So how do you honor your time? Invest in what feeds the soul, learning, creating, loving, giving. Let go of what drains you, petty worries, pointless comparisons, unnecessary grudges. And most of all, be present. When you eat, taste your food. When you talk, truly listen. When you're with loved ones, be fully there. And you can begin tonight with one simple question. If today were my last, would I be proud of how I spent it? That one question will guide you toward what truly matters. Love, growth, gratitude, and away from what wastes your life. So tonight, before you close your eyes, whisper this truth. Time is my true wealth. I will treasure it. I will protect it. And tomorrow, wake as if every moment is a gift, because in truth, it is. Lesson 5. Progress matters more than perfection. There is an invisible trap that so many of us fall into, the trap of perfection. We think that only when our work is flawless, when our bodies have no flaws, when our lives have no mistakes, then, and only then, will we deserve to be happy. But the truth is, perfection does not exist. Nature itself is not perfect. A river does not flow in a straight line. A mountain is never symmetrical. A forest is never in perfect order. And yet, it is their imperfections that make them beautiful. We are the same. If you wait until you are perfect to begin, you may never begin at all. The Stoics did not believe in flawless perfection. They believed in daily progress. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery does not mean never failing. It means failing a little less each day. It means becoming a little better each day. That is true freedom. Think of water dripping on stone. One drop does nothing, but drop by drop, year after year, it can carve through rock. Your life works the same way. One small step each day, reading a single page, exercising 10 minutes, speaking one kind word instead of anger, creates massive change over time. But perfection whispers in your ear, "Not good enough, not ready yet. Wait a little longer." And so you hesitate. You postpone. You miss the moment. How many dreams have been buried because people kept waiting for the perfect time that never came? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Simple. Powerful. Don't wait until you feel good enough, strong enough, perfect enough to live by your values. Begin now. Even clumsy, even flawed. Every small choice, every honest action is a step forward. So let me ask you, did I take one small step today? Just one. You don't need to run a marathon every day. You only need to take a step. And when you look back after a month, after a year, you will be amazed at how far those small steps have carried you. At 20, perfection paralyzes you. It keeps you from starting. At 35, it fills you with doubt under the weight of work and family. At 50, it leaves you with regret. If only I had dared earlier. But progress is different. Progress gives you a path. It teaches you that failure is not the enemy. It is simply part of growth. Ask yourself, am I a little better than yesterday? If the answer is yes, then you are already succeeding. True success is not reaching some perfect mountaintop. It is continuing to climb step by step, day by day. So tonight, let go of the pressure to be perfect. Remind yourself, I am making progress. I am not chasing perfection. And tomorrow morning, make one simple promise to be just a little better than yesterday. Just a little. And little by little, day after day, that becomes a life you can be proud of. Lesson 6. Let go of what you cannot control. One of the core principles of Stoic philosophy is this clear distinction: some things are within our control, and some things are not. When you understand this, life becomes lighter, you feel freer, and you suffer less. So what is within your control? Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, your attitude. And what is outside of your control? The weather, fate, the choices of others, the unexpected events of life. Yet most of our exhaustion comes from trying to control what was never ours to begin with. Think back for a moment. How many times have you drained yourself trying to change someone else? How many nights have you lost worrying about a future no one can predict? How many times have you raged at the traffic, the rain, the world, things you cannot move? Each time you were carrying a heavy bag filled with things you could never control. The wise, as the Stoics teach, carry only one small bag, and inside it are only the things they own: their effort, their response, their patience, their kindness, their discipline, their love. Everything else, the opinions of others, the outcomes of work, the turns of history, they leave by the roadside. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Pause and think. Most of the fears you carry, most of the worries that weigh you down have never even happened. They are shadows of the mind, and yet you let them steal your peace. Imagine you are sailing a boat. You cannot control the wind. You cannot calm the waves. But you can choose how to set your sails, how to hold your balance, how to steer your course. Life is the same. You cannot stop the storm, but you can learn how to steer yourself through it. At 20, letting go frees you from the trap of chasing approval. At 30, it releases you from the weight of an uncertain future. At 50, it brings you peace, because you finally see that resisting the unchangeable is nothing but wasted strength. So ask yourself, did I waste energy today fighting what I could not change? Maybe you stayed angry because someone failed your expectations. Maybe you worried all day about an outcome beyond your control. Maybe you mourned a past that will never return. If so, it is time to put down the heavy bag. Letting go does not mean indifference. It means you stop harming yourself over what lies beyond your reach. It is the art of choosing to spend your energy on what you can change and to smile to accept what you cannot. Remember this: even in the middle of a storm, you can still light a candle in your home. You cannot stop the rain, but you can build a stronger roof. You cannot control others, but you can keep your own heart steady and bright. So tonight before you sleep, whisper to yourself, I release what I cannot control. I keep my peace within. And tomorrow, as you face the world, remember this truth. You don't need to carry both bags. One is enough, and inside it only the things that truly belong to you. Lesson 7. Gratitude turns ordinary days into riches. There is a treasure we all carry with us every day, yet most of us rarely open it. It doesn't sit in a bank account. It isn't measured in numbers or status. That treasure is gratitude. Have you noticed two people can live the exact same day and yet live two completely different lives? One sees traffic deadlines, complaints. The other sees a child's smile, a simple warm meal, or simply the gift of still having health. The difference is not in circumstance, it is in perspective. And gratitude is what transforms an ordinary day into a rich one. Seneca once said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." Because when you practice gratitude, you no longer feel poor. You begin to notice that the things you once took for granted are in fact gifts. Food on your table, loved ones by your side, a body that carried you through another long day. All of these are treasures. At 20, gratitude frees you from the trap of envy. You look around and say, "Not that others have more, but that I already have enough." At 35, gratitude helps you pause and appreciate what you've built, instead of chasing endlessly after more. And by 50, gratitude brings peace. You realize life is not perfect, but there are still countless reasons to smile. Someone once said gratitude is like a new lens. When you put it on, the world is the same, but the way you see it is completely different. A simple meal becomes a feast. A small home becomes a sanctuary. A normal day becomes a day worth remembering. So how do you practice gratitude? It's simple. Each night before bed, recall 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be grand. Maybe just a hot cup of tea, a kind message, or the comfort of lying in your own bed. When you focus on these small blessings, your mind begins to change. Modern science now confirms what the Stoics knew long ago. People who practice gratitude sleep better. They are more optimistic. They enjoy better health, less stress, more joy. Gratitude strengthens the heart and lightens the mind. But gratitude does not mean denying hardship. It does not force you to pretend that everything is fine. Instead, it teaches you this: even in darkness, there is still light. And when you see it, when you hold it close, you become strong enough to face the storm. Ask yourself, if tomorrow I lost something in my life, did I appreciate it today? That question will make you cherish what you have. Because what feels ordinary now might be what you long for tomorrow. So tonight, before you close your eyes, whisper to yourself, "I am grateful for what I have." And tomorrow morning, step into the day with a heart that is full, not empty. Because when you live with gratitude, you will realize you are far richer than you ever imagined. Lesson 8. Forgiveness sets you free. In every heart, there are scars. A word that once cut deep, an action that wounded us, a betrayal that left its mark. And sometimes we believe the only way to stay strong is to hold on to anger, to grip hatred tightly as if bitterness could protect us from being hurt again. But the truth is, the tighter you hold on to resentment, the more you become a prisoner inside your own heart. Forgiveness does not mean you excuse what someone did. It does not mean you must let them back into your life. Forgiveness simply means you set yourself free from the chains of anger and bitterness. Because when you refuse to forgive, you carry that weight every single day. You allow someone else to live rent-free inside your mind. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." What does that mean? It means this: when you let anger control you, you become a mirror of the very person who hurt you. But when you forgive, you choose another path, the path of freedom, the path of dignity. Seneca said it too. It is better to heal than to seek revenge. Revenge may feel powerful for a moment, but it drags you deeper into the cycle of pain. Healing is the higher road. It brings peace. It gives you a heart big enough to love again and bright enough to keep on living. Picture your heart as a cup. If it's filled with resentment, there is no space left for joy, for peace, or for love. But when you pour out the poison, you create room for something better to enter. At 20, forgiveness saves you from wasting your youth on grudges. At 35, it keeps your heart soft under the weight of work, family, and pressure. And at 50, forgiveness brings relief. You realize the past cannot change, but the present and the future can still be healed. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I carrying resentment today? Am I allowing the past to control my peace in the present? If the answer is yes, then it is time to choose differently. Choose forgiveness, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is strength. It takes courage to let go. It takes wisdom to say, I will not allow your mistakes to ruin the rest of my life. And remember, forgiveness is a journey. You may not be able to release everything in a single night, but step by step, day by day, you can learn to loosen your grip. And each time you release a little more anger, you will feel lighter, freer. So tonight, before you close your eyes, say to yourself, I set myself free through forgiveness. Let that truth remind you to put down the heavy weight, so you can fall asleep with a lighter heart and wake tomorrow with a freer soul. Lesson 9. Tomorrow is not promised. Live fully today. There is a truth we all know, yet often try to forget. Tomorrow is not promised. We plan for next month, for next year, for a lifetime. But no one can guarantee we will even have one more day. The Stoics practiced something called memento mori. Remember that you will die. At first it may sound dark, but it is not a call to fear. It is an invitation to live more deeply. Because when you remember your time is limited, you begin to cherish each moment you still have. Seneca once wrote, "While we wait, for life passes." How many times have you said, one day I'll chase that dream? One day I'll say I'm sorry. One day I'll spend more time with my family. And yet that one day keeps slipping further away. Until one day, life no longer waits. So ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I regret not living it fully? Would I regret not saying I love you, not daring to follow what I longed for, wasting too much time on things that never truly mattered? This question is not here to fill you with panic. It is here to wake you up to stop postponing happiness. I once knew a man who said, I'll travel when I retire. I'll spend time with my family later. I'll follow my passion when work is less demanding. But before he could take his parents on the trip, they always dreamed of they passed away. And with tears in his eyes, he said, I waited too long. We all fall into that trap. We delay joy. We delay love. We delay our dreams. But the Stoics taught us this. You cannot control the length of your life, but you can always decide the depth of each moment. A genuine smile, a word of thanks, a hug for someone you love. Sometimes these are worth more than years spent drifting unconsciously. At 20, remembering tomorrow is uncertain gives you courage to begin to risk instead of fearing failure. At 35, it helps you reset your priorities to put family, love, and peace above endless chasing. And at 55, it shows you clearly each day you wake up is a gift to be treasured. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death is at your side. While you live, while you can live. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to remind you urgency is the reason to love more, to live more truly, to waste less time. So tonight, before you sleep, say to yourself, tomorrow is not promised. I will live fully today. Do the thing you've been delaying. Call the friend you miss. Hold the people you love. Begin the dream you've been saving for later. Because none of us know if tomorrow will come. But today is in your hands. And if tomorrow does come, it will be a gift. But if it doesn't, you can still smile knowing you lived fully today. Lesson 10. Inner peace is the greatest success out there. The world never stops praising money, status, reputation, rankings, titles, and glittering lights. But here's a truth few will admit. You can have all of it and still feel empty. On the other hand, you can live a simple life, own little, and yet feel happy, feel free. The secret rests in one thing: peace within. People often believe peace means no problems, no struggles, no storms. But real peace is not the absence of waves. It is the ability to remain calm in the middle of them. It is like a still lake beneath the surface, even if the wind stirs ripples above. Seneca once wrote, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." Unhappiness doesn't come only from events. It comes from how we see them. If your mind is restless, even a beautiful day feels heavy. If your mind is steady, even in a storm, you can still hold a smile. Think about it. How often do we trade away our peace for the smallest things? A negative comment online, a pointless argument, a meaningless comparison. How many times have you lost your inner calm simply because you forgot to pause and ask, "Is this really worth my peace?" Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Simple, clear, powerful. By living with those two principles, you protect much of your peace. Because peace does not come from bending the world to your will. It comes from refusing to let your heart be swept away. At 25, peace gives you clarity in the chaos of choices. At 35, it keeps you grounded amid the pressures of career, family, society. And at 55, peace becomes the jewel of life, the greatest treasure, when you finally see that nothing is worth more than the stillness inside. Picture peace as a fortress within you. The outside world may roar, shift, and bring injustice. But inside that fortress, you can breathe deeply, think clearly, and choose wisely. No one can take away your peace unless you give it up yourself. So ask yourself, did I protect my peace today? Or did I trade it away to worries, to arguments, to fears that brought me nothing? If you did, don't blame yourself. Take it as a reminder. Tomorrow you can choose differently. I once heard a story of a wealthy man. He had everything: houses, cars, power. Yet each night he tossed and turned anxious, afraid of losing what he had. In a small village there lived a farmer. He owned little, but every night he slept deeply, because in his heart there was no bitterness, no fear, only peace. So tell me, who was truly richer? Tonight before you sleep, whisper to yourself, "Peace is my greatest success." Let tomorrow not be defined by numbers or by others' eyes, but by the calm you hold within. Because in the end, success is not measured by how much you own. It is measured by how much peace you carry in every moment of this life. Lesson 11. Love and connection are sources of strength. There is something many people only realize halfway through life. Happiness does not come only from achievements, money, or fame. It comes from love, from true connection. You can reach the peak of your career, own houses, cars, a bank account overflowing. But if at night you lie alone in an empty room with no one to share your joys or your pain, you will feel a hollow that nothing else can fill. On the other hand, you can live a simple life with little wealth. But if you are surrounded by love, by honest friends, you are richer than anyone. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We were born for each other, so be kind. Do not harm one another." That is the truth. We were not born to live apart. We were born to connect, to love, to share. And it is connection that truly nourishes the heart. Think about your own day. How much time did you spend on emails, work, and endless tasks? And how many minutes did you spend on a sincere hello, a hug, or a real conversation? So tonight, ask yourself, did I live with love today? It doesn't need to be grand. Sometimes it is as simple as listening with your whole heart or saying thank you and meaning it. The Stoics believed compassion was not weakness, but strength. Because to open your heart to give love requires courage. Courage to set aside your ego. Courage to risk being hurt. Courage to trust in the goodness of others. At 20, love and friendship remind you that you are not alone on the journey of finding yourself. At 35, connection becomes an anchor when family and career bring heavy pressure. And at 55, love, whether romantic, lifelong friendship, or the bond with children and grandchildren, becomes the greatest comfort, more precious than any achievement. I remember a story. A successful businessman once confessed, "All my life I worked. I built my career. But at the end of the day, what I longed for was not another contract. It was simply dinner with my family, the sound of my children's laughter." That story reminded me, it is not the spotlight that sustains us. It is the light of genuine relationships. Think of your heart as a garden. If you only plant ambition and achievement, the soil grows dry. But if you plant love, friendship, and compassion, the garden blossoms, filling your life with shade, color, and fragrance. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, did I say words of love today? Did I cherish someone close to me? Did I connect deeply with another heart? And if the answer is no, don't despair. Tomorrow is another chance. Even one small act, a message, a hug, a smile is enough to begin. Remember this, achievements may bring applause, but only love and connection bring warmth to your heart. Fame may lift you high, but only true relationships keep you standing strong. So tonight, whisper to yourself, love and connection are my source of strength. And tomorrow live as if you believe it. Because when you choose love, you don't just enrich others, you enrich your own soul. Lesson 12. Have the courage to step into the unknown. Life is full of uncertainty. None of us truly know what tomorrow will bring. Will the job remain secure? Will health hold steady? Will our plans unfold as we hoped? It is this uncertainty that makes so many people afraid. They hesitate. They cling to the comfort of the familiar. But the truth is, this growth only comes when we dare to step into the unknown. Seneca once wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." Fear does not come from the world itself. It comes from hesitation inside our minds. When we refuse to act, we turn small hills into towering mountains. But the moment we move forward, we see the path was never as frightening as we imagined. Think back to your own life. Weren't the turning points a new job, a relationship, a bold decision, all born from a moment of courage? If you wait until everything is certain, you may never move at all. Because absolute certainty never comes. At 20, courage helps you explore, experiment, learn, and begin to carve your own path. At 35, courage helps you face pressure to change direction when you must, instead of staying trapped in false safety. And at 55, courage helps you live fully because you know there is no time left to waste, and only bravery can lead you into true freedom. Life is like a closed door. Behind it are experiences, opportunities, challenges. If you stand outside, you will never know what's inside. But if you turn the handle, if you take that step, you may discover the thing you feared was never as big as you thought. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "If it is right, do it. If it is brave, do not hesitate." The Stoics did not run from uncertainty. They welcomed it, because they knew every challenge is a chance to build character, to become stronger, to grow wiser. So pause and ask yourself, today, did I choose safety or did I choose courage? Did you stay silent instead of speaking the truth? Did you refuse an opportunity because you feared failure? Did you delay a dream because you thought, "I'm not ready"? If so, remember this: no one is ever truly ready. We only become ready once we dare to begin. Courage does not mean you feel no fear. Courage means you act even when your hands are trembling. It is writing the song even if others may judge. It is starting the project even without knowing the outcome. It is opening your heart even when it might be broken. And here's the miracle. Each time you choose courage, fear grows smaller and your heart grows larger. You look back and realize, I was stronger than I believed. So tonight, before you sleep, whisper to yourself, I dare to live with courage. And tomorrow, when you face uncertainty, take just one step forward. Just one. Because it is that single step of courage that opens the door to all the good things you never imagined were waiting. Lesson 13. Leave your mark through contribution. When you look back on your life, what will truly give it meaning? Not the money you made, not the possessions you owned, but the mark you left in the hearts of others. The greatest value of a life is not in how much you take, but in how much you give. The Stoics believed we are not born just for ourselves. We are born to contribute to our community, to the world. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." Our lives are bound together. When you help someone, you do not just enrich them, you enrich your own soul. But remember, contribution does not need to be grand. You don't have to be a hero. You don't have to invent something that changes humanity. Sometimes a kind word, a helping hand, a genuine smile is enough to change someone's day. Think back to a time someone helped you. Maybe it was a stranger's smile, or a friend who called when you were weary. That small act may have warmed your heart and stayed with you for years. So why not be that light for someone else? At 20, contribution teaches you that true worth lies in giving, not ego. At 35, it helps you balance personal duty with social duty, reminding you your life has meaning beyond the grind of work. And at 55, contribution becomes legacy. You can look back and say, I did not live for myself alone. Seneca once said, life is not short. Life is wide, depending on how you use it. One of the widest ways to live is to open your arms to others. When you share knowledge, when you give your time, when you show kindness, you make your life deeper and broader. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what did I contribute today? To another person? To life itself? Maybe you helped in a small way. Maybe you offered encouragement. Maybe you gave your time to family, or simply chose calmness over anger. These acts may seem small, but they are seeds of change. Never underestimate the power of the ordinary. One drop of water can revive a thirsty flower. One match can light an entire room. And one act of kindness, no matter how small, can change someone's life and through it, change the world. People often ask, what can I do to make the world better? The answer is simple. Begin where you are. Your family, your friends, your co-workers, the people you meet each day. That is the soil where you can plant kindness. And when you plant enough seeds one day, you'll see a garden of legacy where others find shade, hope, and inspiration. So, tonight, whisper to yourself, I will leave my mark through contribution. Because in the end, you will not be remembered for what you owned, but for what you gave. And it is through giving that your life becomes immortal in the hearts of others. And now we have walked together through 13 lessons, 13 reminders to whisper to yourself each night. The mind, responsibility, character, time, progress, letting go, gratitude, forgiveness, living fully, inner peace, love and connection, courage and contribution. Each is not just philosophy, but a seed. If you plant them tonight, they will sprout tomorrow, and over time, they will grow into the garden of your life. Remember, Stoicism was never meant to be dusty books or distant words. It is an art of living. It is how you think, how you respond, how you love, how you face hardship. It is the small choices you repeat every day until they shape a life worth being proud of. Each night, when the world grows quiet, when the lights go out, and it's only you with yourself, that is your golden moment. The moment to let go of the noise outside. The moment to return inward. The moment to reflect, to remind, to plant seeds of wisdom for tomorrow. Ask yourself, did I live true to my values today? What seed did I plant? Fear or courage, resentment or forgiveness, ignorance or wisdom? Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you say and do. This is not a warning of doom. It is an invitation to wake up, to remember time is finite, to know happiness is not in some faraway tomorrow, but right here in this very moment. So don't just listen to these lessons. Don't just nod and let them slip away. Choose one, just one. Carry it with you tomorrow. Live it. Practice it. Repeat it. Until one day it is no longer a lesson, it is part of who you are. You can begin simply remind yourself that your mind is your strongest fortress. Or choose responsibility instead of blame, or practice gratitude before bed, or simply forgive so your heart may rest lighter. Whatever you choose, trust that these small steps repeated over time will write a great life. Tonight as you lie down, see this not as the end of a day, but as an opportunity to be reborn, an opportunity to begin again, an opportunity to plant new seeds for a brighter tomorrow. And finally, remember this life is too short to live in regret and too precious to waste in thoughtless living. So live with awareness, live with courage, live with gratitude, and above all, live so that each night when you close your eyes, you can whisper, today I truly lived. The night is a sacred pause. Use it to return to yourself, to plant seeds, to prepare for tomorrow wiser, stronger, more at peace. And as you repeat these 13 lessons night after night, you will see life will no longer be a storm that sweeps you away. It will be a journey you steer with peace, with love, and with a mark that is uniquely yours.